welcome everybody to this day's podcast.
Yeah, so here's the introduction. We're back to doing intros. We like it.
Yeah.
Jonathan gets an insight on a reel that hit home a lot harder than it should have.
Yeah. I go to a boy and girl party. That
Yeah.
was awesome.
A roof jumper? Dude, like, what's going on here, man? Who
Yeah,
are you?
It was crazy. It was
like
crazy.
Spider-Man or something?
Yeah. It's my dream. I'll be there one day.
Jonathan has the greatest idea ever.
Yeah, you have to listen.
Like, you've heard of sliced bread,
that
pales
is
in
nothing.
comparison.
Yeah, like light bulbs, electricity, the internet.
What?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we actually had a deep philosophical discussion, like a legitimate discussion that maybe two normal adults might have.
Yeah.
So just be prepared, like, to be like, where's
What?
the joke?
Yeah,
And be looking for insights.
there's no joke.
And then, of course, we are joined by the lovely Dakar Haldeman.
Yeah, always great to have her.
And she gives us some good insights on headaches, maternity treatments, all sorts of stuff.
All right, Brandon, hit it.
Oh, yeah!
Cats in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man on the moon.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah.
Hitting it hard.
Yeah.
Happy Super Bowl Sunday.
So yeah, it's not Super Bowl Sunday for you guys who are listening to this right now.
It's not. And in fact, if you're a Chiefs fan, you're probably still in mourning.
Yeah. It is
You got-
probably the morning in Kansas. Yeah.
You got your butts kicked, is basically what we're saying.
Yeah, it was a blowout.
I mean, part of me was like, it was a fun game because the team, like, we're not Eagles fans, we're not Chiefs
Nope.
fans,
Nope.
but I think we were tired of the Chiefs winning.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, I like Patrick Mahomes. He seems like a good dude.
Yeah.
I like Andy Reid. Not a big T Swift fan, not a big Kelsey fan.
Wait, why aren't you a Travis Kelce fan?
So he's a podcaster as well.
Oh.
So people are listening to his podcast instead of ours.
Oh, that's why. Yeah.
I also have other views that I'm not going to share at this time.
Okay.
But, but I saw a reel this week that I want you to watch.
Oh, okay.
And
Let's watch it.
and I feel like this one's gonna hit home for you
Oh no.
in a way that this might be the shortest episode we've ever had.
Actually.
Yeah, are you ready for this?
Uh.
All right.
Appreciate you coming on the podcast
Yeah,
today,
of
man.
course.
It's been fun. Hope you'll come back.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
anytime.
I feel like I do need to be a little honest with you before we go. I don't have a podcast, and this is not a podcast that we've been doing. I think I just wanted to talk with you and just kind of hang out, and I didn't know how to initiate that outside of the context of a podcast. So I pretended that I had a podcast when in reality we've just been two men hanging out getting to know each other.
Yeah, we've been talking for 2 hours.
And it's been a good 2 hours for me. I got to know you a little better, and I appreciate you coming by. You know what I mean?
What about that ad read?
Can I ask a question? If I had invited you over for 2 hours to just talk, would you have come over?
No.
Actually, these microphones aren't even plugged in. These are fake. So, you got anything you want to plug? Appreciate you coming on
That-
the podcast.
Yeah,
Is
today,
that
of
man.
is that real? Is that us?
Kind of. I mean, look, we have thousands of listeners,
Yeah, listens, but
and I mean, we're not as big as I want to be.
that's fine. Like it's just two dudes talking on a podcast.
So we probably should have set the table for what that was for those who aren't watching on Spotify. So if you're on Spotify, you're able to see it.
Yeah, but
If you're not watching on Spotify, so basically it's a guy, just a normal looking dude in a lawn chair in his backyard, and he's having a
Yeah.
conversation with another dude in a chair in his backyard, and he basically confesses of, hey, I wanted you to have you over as if like you were a guest on my podcast, but it turns
Yeah.
out there's no podcast.
yeah, he doesn't even have a podcast.
And I feel like Johnny, I mean, that's if I said to you every week, like, hey, let's go upstairs and talk for like an hour
I'd
and hang out, would you want to just do that?
Like, what are we doing? Just sitting and talking.
It's like what we're doing right now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Probably. I was like, yeah, sure. Actually, you know,
And then I'd say,
time.
then I'd say, in the middle of our conversation, I'm going to ask your mom to come in and talk to us about acupuncture.
I'd be like, yeah, well, so I might not be able to make the full thing. You know, I'm pretty tired right now, so I might fall asleep
Yeah.
halfway through.
I mean, like, there's been times. There's one time, so I was heading out of town,
Uh-huh.
and like I woke you up, like you were in bed, and it was like 9 o'clock at night, and I'm like, Johnny, I'm sorry, dude. Like if we don't record now, we're missing a week.
Ooh.
Do you remember this?
Yeah, I think so.
And I think I said to you like, hey, do you got anything? And you're like, no. And I'm like, I don't really either. Let's just go with it. And it
a
was one of our
great
funnier
Yeah, it
episodes.
was a great podcast.
It was just like, wow.
Like, yeah, like we're not like scripting this or anything. We're not like, okay, we're gonna talk about this, then this, then this, then this. We have like ideas.
I don't think we needed to tell people that. I think they could kind of tell based on.
Oh yeah.
We're not reading from a cue card. Next card, please.
Well, so what am I supposed to say next? Oh, laugh. Wait.
S-
Oh.
So let's talk. You went to, I think this is your first boy-girl party this weekend. Is this the first time you've attended? No, you've gone to others?
Yeah, with the
Like the
yeah, it was like
Tess and some of them, or
no.
doesn't matter. Who cares? We're not gonna go. Let's talk about this party you went to on Friday night.
Well, so I came over and one of my friends, Barrett, was there, and me and Russell showed up together, and Barrett had been there an hour earlier.
Solo.
Yeah, and he was the only one there.
Like
and
the
he,
only dude, like
yeah.
the only person.
No, the
only
for,
guy.
for a while actually. He came an hour before the party started because he thought the party started
Oh no!
like
Thought it started at 6 instead of 7.
yeah.
And I told you, I'm like, hey, you went to jujitsu that night,
Yeah,
so you got to come home, shower. So you showed up like probably 7:30 ish.
yeah, so yeah, we did like 30 minutes late.
He's like helping set up at that point.
Yeah, he like
Oh,
he,
poor
he
Barrett.
just he wasn't even out. Like everybody's outside playing pickleball. He's just sitting inside. He's like, I don't. Yeah.
He's like talking to the parents, like, hey, so
Yeah.
how's your investment portfolio?
Yeah, but so then we come over and then
We like to clean with 409 in my house. We use Clorox wipes.
Yeah. but so me and Russell show up and we're playing pickleball for a little bit, but then me and Russell went over and we were jumping on a trampoline, and so they have a 1-story house, and we're like I've gone onto the roof of a 1-story house before, and I'm like, might as well do it again, and
Dude,
so I'm like,
Don't
playing-
go on people's roofs.
Well, we did. So it's like you look, like you turn around and you see, like in your brain, you know, like when everything comes together at that moment, you're like, oh, doom, 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 like the steps on getting onto the roof.
Yeah.
I just saw it and I'm like, we should get on the roof. And then we got on the roof and then we jumped off the roof, but no broken legs. We were just getting down as fast as possible, efficiently as possible. And
I mean, that night, that your mode of thinking of like, hey, let's get on somebody's roof, that kind of follows the thinking that you had earlier in the night.
what was it?
I don't know if you remember this. So I picked you up from jujitsu.
Yeah.
We're driving home, and you said, I have the best idea ever.
So Russell was
And
wait.
so you had, like, think of all the amazing ideas that have existed in the history of the world,
yeah.
right? I mean, you got the invention of the wheel,
Right,
right?
the wheel, the light bulb,
Okay, you got the electricity in the light bulb. You got
Yeah.
the internet. You have a
everything.
water heater. You have sliced bread, right?
Yeah.
You have all these amazing inventions.
Yeah, like
And
everything.
in fact, so you had the best idea ever.
This is what I said. I said I have the best idea ever, and like I'm gonna. So Russell had a bloody nose before, and I said, Russell, if you get a bloody nose, rub it on your shirt and pretend like you just got shot. And he was wearing a white shirt too, so it would make it even better. And so it would look like he got shot. And I'm like, oh crap, they can't catch me too. And so I would run, and then, yeah, I mean, like,
And that was the best idea.
yeah,
Like
that's the best idea ever.
like you got like Elon Musk, who's definitely a listener.
Yeah.
Right now, he's like, I'm leaving SpaceX and
Yeah.
Tesla,
So
I'm just gonna get a bunch of shirts with blood stain on it. I think you even said something at one point. I'm like, oh, just rub ketchup on it too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was like the evolution of the idea,
yeah.
maybe.
No, I don't know. I
Somehow-
think mom said something about like Yeah, I think they have a trampoline. I was like, Russell, if you get on the trampoline and get a bloody nose, you could rub that on your shirt and pretend like you
Best
just got shot.
idea
Yeah,
ever.
like, what? Tell me a better idea than that. That's
I-
besides
look,
all the good ideas.
I mean, I just named a lot of really good ideas, but one of the things that, as I was naming those, a lot of people say this is the best thing since sliced bread.
And
But I want to know, like,
when did sliced bread become? a
yeah, like
thing?
who was eating just chunks of bread? They're like, man, this bread is so good, but like, in order to have a sandwich, I have to have 2 whole loaves.
Go
Like,
on over
you know-
to
like,
Subway.
you know how much carbs that is? Eating 2 whole
Lots
loaves
of protein.
bread.
That's what I'm telling you. That's a good hearty
I
meal
mean, they
right
didn't
there.
have Dave's bread back then. They just had,
Mm.
just uncut bread.
I think like I don't know, like sliced bread is like something we take for granted every day. Every day you pull out you pull out the bread and you're like, "Oh, well, I'm just going to take out a slice," you know? You don't have to cut it. It's pre-cut, or maybe you do. I don't know.
I mean, like I bought that loaf. There's at Costco.
Yeah.
They have this Italian bread that you can buy.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful, but you have to cut it yourself.
I don't cut it. I take a bite.
You just take a bite. I'm like,
Yeah.
who's taking bites of the? Well, now I know.
It was actually, speaking of taking bites of food and putting it back. Like on the topic, I actually took
At the party?
no, not at the party. Who do you think I am? But basically, I was eating pizza just barely today. And I'm like, I don't really want to finish this piece of pizza, so I just put it back where I found it. And Ralph's cleaning up all the food, and he's like putting it away. He's like, Jonathan, did you take a bite of the pizza and put it back?
Like, nope.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
He's like, I was like, why would you ever think that's me? And I'm like, and how did you know it was me?
Yeah, I mean, you guys are getting to a point where you're kind of getting gross in some ways.
What?
Like we're watching a movie last night, and in fact, let's make this moment. This is our Cinemark moment.
Okay. We're watching Stranger Than Fiction.
Yeah, so this section is brought to you by Cinemark. Get your movie pass, $10 a month. Get a movie ticket, get 20% off concessions.
Yeah.
No online fees.
Yeah.
We're watching Stranger Than Fiction last night, which probably is my favorite Will Ferrell movie.
What?
Yeah, it like Anchorman's hilarious.
Have-
Anchorman 2 also hilarious.
Have you ever seen Anchorman or Anchorman 2?
No, maybe I should see those.
Yeah.
Talladega Nights, great, whatever.
Yeah.
But the reason I think I like Stranger Than Fiction is because he takes on a serious role and actually is kind of funny in it in a mild way.
What?
It's
'cause
it's
he-
the
'cause he's
subtlety because I think he's funny, but
Yeah.
he's like overtly trying to be funny in a
Yeah,
lot of these things.
like-
Whereas in Stranger Than Fiction, it's just he's a normal dude.
I feel like in movies, like, you think, oh my gosh, this guy's hilarious, this guy's hilarious. They're not hilarious. It's the writers who are hilarious. Like I think Homer Simpson is so funny. No, Homer Simpson is not funny. It's
Well, have you ever met him in real life? I mean, he is funny in person.
yeah, but like I think I'm actually have a podcast with him.
That's his grandpa. I'm Grandpa Homer.
Oh, yeah. But like I feel like the writers are the real ones. Like Dumb and Dumber, like Lloyd and Harry are, I feel like,
They're funny.
yeah, they're funny, but like the writers make it.
And I think look, to Will Ferrell's credit, I think he participates in that writing
Yeah.
aspect of it. And there's definitely things that he does that are like ad lib, like he'll make it up as it goes,
Mm.
and that adds to the hilariousness of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's something like for some reason, Stranger Than Fiction and probably the other guys are probably two of his movies that are
Oh,
my favorite.
I love the other guys. You thinking what I'm thinking?
Aim for the bushes.
Oh.
So, all right. So, you've seen Stranger Than Fiction before?
Yeah.
I fell asleep during it. I've seen this movie probably 5-6 times. I still like it.
Can I spoil?
Yeah, it's been out a long time.
Basically, he gets hit by a bus.
He gets hit by a bus.
Yep, and then
I mean, the boat sinks in Titanic. He gets hit by the bus. The biggest problem I have with this movie is that they should kill him in it. Like that should kill him. They shouldn't
Yeah.
allow him to like be in a full body cast. One of the problems I have with movies is they have too many happy endings.
yeah,
And life doesn't always have happy ending. Like I think eventually it gets happy.
I kind of wanted it to have a happy ending. Though.
Well, you always want it to have a happy ending. Like you want the guy to get the
no,
girl. You
no.
want them to live happily ever after. You want them to get rich and be successful.
Not always. You know, like in Avengers: Infinity War,
I don't
Thanos beat everybody, and then in Avengers
but-
Endgame,
But then they see, and I didn't even watch these movies. I just know from talking to you guys about it. So Thanos did something bad, but then they did this like, oh well, let's turn back the clocks of time, and then it never happened. It's like that's not like it's like they had the bad ending, and then too many people were upset about it, so they had to redo it. Like have it where
no,
it's
people weren't upset about it. They're already at the end of the movie. You watch the credits. It showed them doing something.
like have the Karate Kid movie, but Daniel LaRusso gets his butt kicked. Like there's no way. Here's this kid who's been doing karate for what 5-6 months,
and
and now all of a sudden this guy who's strike hard, strike fast, no mercy.
breaks his leg, and then he jumps onto his broken leg and kicks him in the face.
Yeah, like
don't understand
the bad guy. What's the bad guy's name? The quote unquote bad guy, Johnny.
Yeah.
So Johnny Lawrence
Yeah.
is dominating Daniel LaRusso, and then Daniel LaRusso does an illegal kick to the face, mind you.
What?
An illegal, yeah, like that's one of
How
the
did he
rules.
not win?
Exactly. So it's
Wait,
like the thing that the guy got in trouble for earlier
was kicking
kicking
in the face.
in the face, and so he got disqualified,
Yeah.
and now
wait a
Daniel
minute.
wins by a face kick.
You just figured out a plot hole in an amazing movie.
So
They
amazing.
made a
amazing.
I understand that they made a
It's a good movie.
Cobra Kai is based off of Karate Kid.
So that's part of Johnny Lawrence's bitterness towards Daniel LaRusso is because Daniel won illegally.
Dang. And then they made more movies after that. But also after that, what's his name, Mr. Miyagi, he beat the poop out of the guy. He punched the window and punched the other window, and then
Honked his nose.
Yeah, honked his nose.
He embarrassed him. I think the
I'd
mean
rather-
guy would have rather gotten punched in the face than gotten nose honked.
Yeah, like he's like honk.
Good stuff right there.
Yeah, but like I think happy endings are good. There's a movie. What's a movie that we watched and it had a bad ending and I loved it.
Titanic, we didn't watch it though.
No,
The
I
boat
don't-
still sinks. I don't know how it ends.
No, I know how it ends. They get on a rescue boat and they live. I think.
No, because the Leonardo DiCaprio. So there's
Jack
actually a theory
dies.
that Leonardo DiCaprio in
Yeah.
that movie is not real. That it's part of her magic. Now again, I've not watched this movie,
What?
but
Who's Leonardo DiCaprio?
he's the guy that painted the Mona Lisa.
Why was he on a Titanic?
So Leonardo DiCaprio is the
it's just-
actor.
It's
He's the main actor in the movie.
Oh,
And then there's a chick, I can't remember her name. I've never seen the movie.
all I know is like Jack, hold me. And then
So that's Jack.
Yeah,
He's Jack.
Oh dang. They gave him the most basic name, Jack.
Jack.
like what are we gonna name him? Let's
Jack.
name him.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Pick a creative name. Jack. All right, whatever. Easier.
Yeah. I bet like I don't know what's the other lady's name? Would you think like Brittany
Rose. I don't know.
Rose? Let's just think. Her name could be.
Rose. I'm going with Rose.
Yep.
It had to be Rose or Blanche,
Yeah.
Dorothy. It's one of the Golden Girls.
Oh, okay. I've never seen that, so I don't.
So
Um,
when I was young, we didn't
Your
have cable.
favorite TV show was The Golden Girls.
I mean, unfortunately, kind of. So when I was young, we didn't have cable.
Yeah.
And so Saturday nights were always just boring. Like there was nothing to do.
Why don't you go hang out with your friend?
Well,
Oh, because the
I'm
lights
talk-
are out.
Like I'm 10. Yeah, the lights were on. The street lights were on, so you can't be out. I'm
Mm.
talking. I'm like 10 years old, right? So I'm like, you're not really hanging out with your friends quite yet in the evening all the time. You're like
Yeah.
doing the day play dates kind of thing. And then like my parents would go out on a date, and so like I got to be in charge of my younger brothers.
Yeah.
And so like Saturday night TV doesn't have a ton of stuff on, so like there'd be Hee Haw, which is like a variety show. It's
Why?
just bad. Don't ask.
I have a question. Why don't they have stuff on Saturday night?
Because nobody's staying home to watch TV because we're out going on dates and stuff.
But the
And-
kids.
Well, they didn't care about us. They didn't care about us,
Mm.
Johnny. And so then there was another show called Golden Girls, and I would watch the Golden Girls.
You loved it, didn't you?
No, it was fine. It was on. You know, it was fine.
And
Then I got a Nintendo, and then everything changed.
oh, okay, okay.
Everything, my life,
Like
is
immediately
just
got better.
you're like this. Like my addictive personality, 100% came out.
I feel like there's like I don't think what do you think could happen that like could change our everything in our world. Because like,
So
you didn't expect the Nintendo to come out. You're like, what?
So
What
I-
is this?
yeah, so I think AI mixed with robots will drastically change our lives.
Oh,
In some ways for the better and in some ways for the worse.
Yeah.
So like I could 100% see a time where people are in straight up relationships with robots.
ooh, that does not.
So
sound
that'll be
good.
really weird. That trust me, that will happen.
Cyborg babies.
They won't have babies.
Oh, okay.
That's not how that works.
Yeah.
But there will 100% be people like, oh yeah, meet my girlfriend, and it's a robot.
Yeah. Like, or like, meet my
so
kids.
that
and it's
to
some
me
dog.
would be a negative effect. But like I could 100% see. So like like when I'm old, I don't know if this will be here for like, I don't know how long it's going to take to get where it's going to be good. But so when I'm old and decrepit, right? So like
Oh.
I can't get on and off the toilet by myself, or I can't bathe myself anymore.
You can't remember that you're old and decapitated right now.
I can't remember that I'm old. And something like that. So I can 100% see a robot coming and like taking me on and off the toilet and bathing me and dressing me and doing physical therapy. Like 100% I could see a Tesla robot doing that. Or right.
Tesla?
Well, because Tesla's coming up with robots.
Does it have wheels for legs or just?
No, it has like real. It's like it looks like a human.
What? That'd be scary, bro.
No, it's good. I mean, yes and no. I mean, it's like the Matrix. It'll be kind of like the Matrix in a way,
No, it'd be
or
like,
like
a Terminator.
Terminator. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Terminator.
It's like you're like, oh, like I'm gonna put you in the bathtub. You
Just
know?
drowns me slowly. Like
that-
it lets me up, gives me mouth to mouth, and it does it again.
yeah, that would be scary. Like, is it like metal on the inside or it's bones?
Yeah, no, it's metal. So see here, this is the vision that I have of it. So keep in mind, I don't work for Tesla Robot, but
Neither do
I've seen some videos, and just me thinking the evolution of it is, I could say, all right, we want to have this casserole for dinner tonight. Make it, and it'll go into the pantry. It'll see the food that we have. It'll see the ingredients. It'll go into our seasoning cabinet, whatever. It'll get the seasonings out, and it will make it. And then
That would just turn. I actually don't want that. I'm
in
not-
some ways you do, and in some ways you don't, right?
No,
Because
I-
think about Lazy Johnny. Lazy Johnny, it's Saturday, you're playing video games, and you're like, man, I really wish I had a sandwich right now.
No.
And so you could say, Tesla bot, make me a Sandy.
That's exactly why I don't want that. That's exactly the like I know that's what Lazy Johnny wants. Lazy Johnny is like, ooh, make me a sandwich. Ooh, make me this. But if you let the lazy person come out of you in your life, then you will have
Turn into Wally.
I just Wally's
No,
happy.
think about the people in the spaceship that
Oh
were
yeah.
we're all like gonna be fat, sitting on like a chair that we like you can't even walk on your
Yeah.
own.
So like you will become the most unhappy person. Like you'll be doing everything that's fun, and that stuff will not become fun anymore because you're not doing the stuff that's not fun.
So, and you know what you just said is true. There has to be in all of our lives. There needs to be an element of struggle in order for us to succeed.
Yeah.
And so I think when this happens, there's going to be some people that become lazy off of it, and there's going to be other people that allow it to do some of the minutia so that you can then spend more time on those other things.
Yeah.
So like, I don't want to go do yard work. I don't want to clean the house. So I can have Tesla bot do those things for me while I go start another business, while I go hike something, while I go
Hike Mount Everest.
yeah, I go coach a kid. So like you can definitely say, oh, I'm lazy mode. I'm not going to do anything. But you can also
Yeah.
be like, hey, I now have this time taken care of. So how can I serve other people? How can I lift the burdens of the world or
Yeah.
whatever?
It's also I feel like it's also so easy to take advantage of that. Like you're like, oh, can you do the yard work? And then like you could just feel like not doing it, and then that could become a repetitive thing. Like, you know?
Yeah. But even like I look at the technology that you have in your life versus what I had in mine.
Yeah.
Where when I had to do a report, there was no Google search. I had to go
Oh,
to the library, get an encyclopedia. You had to read a bunch of stuff. You had to get other books on the thing. You had to write it out, like hand write it, where there's no
Ooh.
typing going on. And so that's a different learning experience than what you're having. Like the amount of information that we have on phones.
Yeah.
That we didn't have anything close to that on a computer in my day.
What did you have on computers?
We had Oregon Trail. We had the Oregon Trail and
Mm.
Print Shop.
What's Print Shop?
So Print Shop is think like Microsoft Word. It's like a kind of a word processor.
Yeah.
But then, so like we had an Apple IIe computer. Like my mom spent like her life savings and
Oh.
bought an Apple IIe.
Does she
and
still
so-
have it?
No, I wish she did.
Yeah.
I wish she had. Maybe she does. She does have some. That'd be super awesome if she still has that.
Yeah.
So she's a listener. She'll listen to this, in 8 days, and so she can tell us.
Fig-
yeah, I
figure
still
out
got
if
it
you
here.
have it.
Yeah, look in your closet, see if it's there. So anyway, we would print these 8 pieces of paper,
Yeah.
and it would have like we would just put like keep out, and it'd have like a skull and crossbones on there, and then like we would like print like 10 of those and like put them on our door and like color them or whatever. We didn't have color printers back then either,
Yeah.
so kind of
That's funny.
Well-
But yeah, like that. I feel like I am kind of lucky, having all that information and stuff. Or
But it's what you do with it as well, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you have right on our phones, we have access to unlimited information. Well, what are you doing with it?
like you could do something bad with it or something good.
I mean, or like we could know all this stuff about health, and then you eat donuts all day, and it doesn't mean anything. So
Yeah.
having knowledge without appropriate action really doesn't mean much.
Yeah.
Let's talk about other sponsor here. This is our sponsor that counts,
Doc R. Haldeman LLC,
bringing you happiness,
healing
health.
in a myriad of ways.
I like it.
That was awesome.
It was awesome. Yeah, it's like we planned it out.
Yeah.
Thanks, Q Card.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pause for a second. We're gonna bring Doc Haldeman on here. So hold on real quick. Okay, so we're back. We got Doc R. Haldeman in the house,
Welcome.
Thank you.
and always a pleasure to have you.
Yeah. Always.
Oh, I appreciate you guys. You guys are so sweet.
So we were talking earlier today about how excited we are. Addison's pregnant, having another baby,
Yeah.
and you kind of were sharing with us how you've been able to help some of your patients with that process.
Yeah, it seems like there's a great markup in infertility recently. There's a lot more people struggling to become pregnant. So I have worked with a handful of patients, and just last week, actually, I met with a woman who was struggling with infertility. She's 26 years old, so all the things that normally work at that time should have been working, and they weren't. She was just past a year for infertility, trying to conceive, and had no success. And so actually the medical doctors that she was visiting with suggested that she try acupuncture, which I was surprised. It was a very pleasant surprise. And so she came to our office, found our location. It was near her home, and I just started helping her with the process of fertility, treating her for fertility through acupuncture. And her case was super exciting because it was very quick. It took 2 months of acupuncture visits. Usually we'll do like a weekly visit, and there's a protocol for each week of the cycle of the and that it was quick. It was fast. And now she's 6 months pregnant, and she showed me all of the things that they're planning on for the baby shower, and super exciting. There's another woman who had a baby already, but for whatever reason was struggling to become pregnant again. And hers was a little bit of a longer case, but I worked with her through, I think it was about 5 months of acupuncture treatment, and she did not have to have any drug intervention, any other procedures or anything, and was able to become pregnant. And so that was super thrilling as well. So those 2 cases. I did treat another woman, but I haven't had the update yet. Hers was, again, a little bit longer. She came in preemptively because she knew she was going through the IVF process, but they suggested that she try acupuncture to help support her body through the fertility, well, not through the fertility process, but to support the body in health so that she could hold the baby when they would place the embryo through IVF.
All right, so the skeptic might say something like, well, maybe they would have gotten pregnant anyway. So how do you know that your treatments were part of that success versus just nature taking its course?
Well, a lot of reasons show us that this is effective, and the only other thing that these 2 women especially were doing differently in their the process of trying to become pregnant was they added acupuncture. So the first one that I mentioned, again, her case was very quick. There should have been nothing that was precluding her from becoming pregnant, but anyway, the only different thing that she did was have acupuncture, and that was a whole year before the acupuncture. She was unable to become pregnant. So, and it's logical, especially in clinic and in studies. There are specific acupuncture points that are supportive for the body in fertility. So those are the points that I used, and it worked.
Awesome.
So
That is awesome.
Like Johnny's like, I don't know, you're talking about fertility, and I know what
Yeah.
that involves. So
Yeah, I'm just. Yeah.
what other success have you been seeing in your practice of recent?
something that I was trained for recently, about 6 months ago, I went through a program to help with acupoint injection therapy. So that's using acupuncture point placement with Procaine, so it's local anesthetic injection. And that has been very exciting. I actually just wrote a blog post for my newsletter for my company, so the company I work for. So get on iwholehealth.com and read the blog coming up, because it'll be super exciting. So
You want to tell us more about it, or are you going to tease us and just tell us to go read the blog post?
yeah, well, so with using Procaine, it helps to, it's kind of like a rocket fuel to the acupuncture point or the acupuncture treatment. So one woman had menstrual cramps, and there's a point that I placed Procaine injection in, and immediately her menstrual cramps went away, and it was pretty awesome. And then another woman, she was suffering from post shingles effects, so she didn't have any active shingles, but it was she had an itchy line across the mid the side of her body here, kind of like the bra line area. She just was so itchy along that whole line from the back, right near the spine, all the way underneath the breast. And so I injected Procaine in the area, and just one treatment and the itching was gone. So it was super awesome. It was very, very satisfying. So.
Okay, so I know you've said in the past you love treating patients with headaches because it's so easy.
Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
The location of each headache is related specifically to an organ system, and the treatment is not, it's very textbook. It's typically very, very easy. There are people who struggle with chronic headaches, and I find those patients have, there's an internal environment that is not, that they keep on, it's like they're allergic to some sort of food, or they're exposed to some sort of toxin. Something is not right. If I can't help them with their headaches, then there's something more that is precluding them from that healing, and it's most likely, need to go get an MRI or check your diet. Like that's always my fallback, but anyway.
So you're saying like somebody who's been like chronic migraine person, you're having them come in, and lots of times you're like, yep, let's knock this out.
Yeah. Yeah. So I one thing I do notice that people who have frontal headaches, they sometimes will love ice drinks and ice beverages, and ice is for dead people is a common term that we used when we were going through school. And that will cause a frontal headache 100% of the time. I find people who love ice beverages are getting frontal headaches. So, and there's a point prescription to help that. But if you keep on taking ice beverages, then it might be a problem.
I think it's fascinating because like throughout our married life, like I've been an Excedrin guy, once to twice a week. When it's more stressful, maybe a little bit more than that. I rarely, if ever, take Excedrin anymore. And
Why?
I think it's, I don't know. It's just the craziest thing.
It's your pillow.
It's my pillow. I got a new pillow. Yeah. I mean, the only thing I can attribute to is willpower.
Okay, good.
And acupuncture.
Oh.
Johnny, anything to add?
No, it's just awesome.
Do you get headaches, Jonathan?
Nope. Well, no, yeah.
You didn't have any headaches last week that I happened to treat you for acupuncture?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Okay.
Most of our podcast is trying to remember what we've done this past week. So,
Okay.
so it wouldn't surprise him or me that we can't remember our week.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Okay, well, thanks for being with us today, Doc R. Haldeman.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
I love having her on. You know,
She's awesome.
wealth of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
A good lady. I'd marry her.
I would not marry her. I'm sorry. Like, we have different opinions on this. I feel like
It's weird to marry your mom. I wouldn't
Yeah.
recommend that.
yeah, I think you are married to her too. So
Yeah, so I don't have to,
yeah, you don't.
What I
have to-
do have to do is I got to keep courting her, right? I got to keep taking her on dates and
Yeah,
making sure that she wants to be married to me.
that's how you. I mean, you are a famous podcaster, so like,
Thousands of listeners.
yeah. But, and I just give up. I give up at this point.
I think you keep saying, just say listens because it's funny.
Listens,
To me,
yeah.
it's funny every time. Like there's certain jokes to me that are just, it's funny every time.
Right. Like
So at CrossFit, we have this warm-up stretch called Samson's. And so think like you're doing a forward lunge and then you put your hands over your head.
Yeah.
And that's called a Samson. And every time they say, "Oh, do Samson's down," I say, "What's that?" And they go, "Samson." I go, "No, that's the wrong term." And I say, "Samson, Swinney, Swanson's, Samsonite." You're way off. And every time it's funny to me, and most of the time it's not funny to anybody else.
wait. Did you make that up?
That's
or-
from Dumb and Dumber
Oh. Wait.
because he's trying to remember Mary Swanson's last name.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, Swanee, Samson. And then they see Samsonite because it's on the suitcase.
Yeah.
You're way off.
I thought like you were gonna do it like you're like, okay.
And
Make
fart humor is that's more, I mean,
that's
farts
more
are funny.
hilarious.
But, speaking of farts and gas just type things.
Oh.
So I was at a lunch this past week with some of my friends.
Oh.
And a lot of them are building houses.
Oh.
They're part of the bougie custom home build crowd.
Yeah.
And
We don't like, not to be mean, but
we're just the normal house guy. I don't know what we are.
Yeah.
Anyway, I asked him. I said, "Well, hey, this house, like, are you putting in bidets in your bathrooms?"
yeah.
And
What'd they say?
he goes, like, they looked at me like I was from France.
What? Wait,
They're like,
Yeah.
"Why would it like bidet? Like, I've never even used a bidet." And I just said, "Oh, you haven't lived unless you've used a bidet."
I'm not like, a bidet is fine. It's not like,
Dude, look. Here's my hot take. I love bidets. I love them.
wow. Here's my hot take. Bidets are not that good.
So I don't know if I need to get into why I love it, or do I just say I love it? To me, it's a better way to clean.
Yeah.
It's a more practical and efficient way at cleaning.
It's a better way to waste water.
I mean, you're not even wasting water. Think about the paper you're wasting when you have like the never-ending wipes.
Yeah, you're right.
Like think of Andy when he was on Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
And he's like, goes to the doctor and he's like, I just wipe, and he's like, it's like there's a magic marker down there. When you use a bidet, that goes away.
Wow.
That's why I love.
When
That's
you're-
part of the reason the eternal wipes.
One thing you said that made me think of a movie. You said they looked at me like as I was from France, and it was like reminds me of Talladega Nights, and it's like, what have the Americans given us?
French toast.
French toast, pizza, Italy.
Democracy.
Yeah. And then one of them, yeah, it was.
Good
It's a
times.
good movie.
Good times.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for listening.
Yeah.
And watching,
Yeah,
and for supporting our sponsors, Doc R. Haldeman.
just go see her. Call her up 702-258-7860.
And she did. Maybe we ought to start promoting the website that the company has, iWholeHealth.com.
Yeah.
Or you can just do a Google search of Renaissance Health Center, Las Vegas. You can find it there too.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for listening. We appreciate you.
Bye.
Oh, wait, before you go, let's just end with one more party song.
Okay.
Brandon hit it. Oh, yeah!
Cats in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man on the moon.